there's been a total turnaround. We have developed task force after task force. We have changed the total concept of the Kentucky League of Cities. Recently, I was in the interview process of hiring a new director. We have fired some of those employees that at the high level, their salaries, what they had done, what they were doing, and we fired them. I mean, we terminated them because what they were doing was not in the best interest of the cities, and we all have learned a great lesson. And I tell people now, if you serve on a board, make sure exactly, you know exactly what's going on. If you don't need to sit on that board. And we were probably lax, I'll be honest with you. But that's what trust is all about, when you trust people. But I know a lot of those meetings that we had, even before all this began to happen, we always questioned the budget every year. We always we were concerned with salaries. And some people might disagree with some of the salaries, but again, it is a unique organization. Kentucky League of Cities still functions, and it's going to function a lot better for the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Thank you. Ms. Troutman, your question is as follows. As a city council member, did you approve a budget that would have included dues for membership in the League of Cities? In light of the audit report, can it be said that the city got its money's worth? How is our cost of membership determined? Has that membership been continued? And as a council member, have you required any justification from the League for continuing membership?
The council has, on an annual basis, as far as I know, approved the fee that is charged to us to be a member of the Kentucky League of Cities. I have had the opportunity to work off and on with the League of Cities since 1990, and in various capacities. I was one of the people that actually sat online and read the 200-page audit that was provided by the Lexington Herald, and I was shocked. I was shocked to see what was happening. I was disappointed as not only someone that knew some people that worked in that agency, but I was shocked to see how it seems like we had almost been taken advantage of as cities. They do provide some very good services, and I will have to say that since that audit has happened, they seem to have reoriented themselves back to what they do best is membership services. But it's kind of disappointing when you look and see that the executive director of a quasi-public entity is making $370,000 a year and then was allowed to retire. And as far as I know, I think her retirement is now about $17,000 a month through a quasi-public private entity. I think everyone associated in any city was disappointed to see that. I'm not sure the council, other than to deny the entire budget, to eliminate that. I don't think that's prudent, but I do think that we need to be more careful about where these fees are going, and if those agencies or other groups, even here locally, are taking our money for public services, that we need to be following up and making sure they're spending that money the way they're supposed to be.
Thank you. The next question is yours.
Okay.
And it follows up on that somewhat. What kind of oversight, if any, is there for the local boards and commissions in view of what occurred there? Do you think there should be any more local oversight of our boards and commissions? If so, would you propose to prevent misuse of authority by any of these groups? What manner would you do that in? If you do not agree that there should be any more oversight of it, what kinds of safeguards are in place to prevent misfeasance or malfeasance by one of them?
Well, as we've kind of already discussed, these boards and outside commissions are staffed or are manned by appointees, usually at the county level, some that are jointly by the mayor and the county judge executive. I think whoever you put on that board and commission has to be someone that you can rely on to be doing what you're asking them to do. I do believe we need to have a better formal reporting to the council as a whole. More of that needs to occur on a regular basis. We do get some reports come in. I know we dealt recently with the airport board on several things that their group had requested, and we did get some reports from them. But I think that needs to be a regular presentation to the council. We need to see what that money's going toward, and that report needs to be more formal, I think, on a regular basis. And if I'm elected, I would try to do that. I think that is something that if you're serving at the pleasure of the mayor and you're representing the city on those commissions, you should be willing to bring that report back and give that to the citizens who are funding that.
I guarantee you, anytime there's money involved, that's why we have audits. And we leave it up to our auditors and I know Mrs. Stratton's not on the Finance Committee, and sometimes things that are discussed with the Finance Committee are brought before the entire body of the City Council. And the City Council has every opportunity, anytime, whether we're having a council meeting or whether, you can go downstairs to the City Clerk's office, and you have that right, they have that right as an elected official to look up anything they want to. People who are on boards and committees are not subject to handling money. Only a few. We have treasurers like the 911 board and a few other boards that they have a treasurer. But everything that we do, folks, it is audited. And we depend upon them, the audits, to give us a true report of what they have been audited. And like I say, every council member has a right to question anything. They are an elected official just the same as the mayor is. They have that right. Anytime they feel like there's something they want to question, whether they talk to the auditors, they can talk to the city clerk, they can talk to me, they have a right to know. But everybody that's involved in boards, committees are not subject to handling money. We changed that process in City Hall. When I came into office, one person was in charge of the money, and that was totally stupid, because then they got some people in trouble for that. But we changed all that. So again, when you talk about boards and committees, everybody's not, I've done said this 3 times, I guess, but but we have auditors, and we depend on our auditors to, and sometimes if they red flag us, and we correct it.
Thank you. Mayor, this next question is yours.
Okay.
And it will be, to some degree, the same question for you,
Okay.
so the parts that apply will be yours. How is the decision to blacktop a particular street made? What is the source of funds for blacktopping? If the answer is a commission or a committee, who comprises that committee? And finally, do you believe the use of funds for blacktopping little-used city streets is the best use of that allocation of money?
What most people don't understand is that there is a fund called the Road Aid Fund that is derived from the gasoline tax in the state of Kentucky. And every county, every city is allotted on a percentage basis of how much money that they will get each year to do blacktopping, resurfacing, or whatever. We have a committee that makes up the city council that every year they get with the Public Works Superintendent, Jack Chadwell, and they go over the streets, they go out into the community, and they try to find those streets that are in the worst conditions. And when they do that, then they will come back, they will report, and again, probably we don't get all the streets paved or repaved like we want to, because there's not enough money. The city, in any city, like I said, we depend on that road aid fund that we get from the state through the gasoline tax to assist us in or blacktopping streets. And, sometimes when we talk about building new roads and streets, that's almost an impossibility because we don't have the funds to do so because it's so costly. I was wanting to do Scotty Drive. It's going to cost over $1 million, but we couldn't get any state funds for that. So we are allotted so much money a year, and again, we have a committee that goes out. Doug Eisenberg, who is on the city council, he's part of that committee. They go out and they look for the worst streets of all. They come back, they regroup, and that's what we usually repay. And like I say, not all of them are paved, and sometimes people will complain. I got time to tell the story. We had a street that was rough as a cob. I mean, it was rough as a cob. And we blacktopped it and smooth. See, I was so proud of it. Then I got criticized because I blacktopped it. Made people speed up. So, things you do sometimes, but we're going to blacktop and we're going to repave streets as the money becomes available.
Well, as this relates to me, I actually serve on the infrastructure committee with Mr. Eisenberg, and we do meet on a regular basis and and we work really closely with Jack Chadwell, Kurt Fry at the Public Works. They have a scheduled list of streets that they recommend, and it comes up, I believe it's about 90 miles of paved roads that we take care of as a city, and those are on a rotational basis. And then if there is a priority, say there's been water runoff or there's been damage to the asphalt, we can, as a committee, recommend to move that street into a higher priority. They try to maintain them on a regular basis, but again, that only goes as far as our road fund money. We do have, at the beginning of each budget cycle, a road fund hearing, and I'm always a little disappointed because nobody ever comes to the hearing. So I would like to encourage people, if you have an opportunity to come to the road fund hearing, which is usually right as the budget is being put in place, if you have a comment about streets or you want to have a question, that's a good time to ask a question about what roads are being done and learn the process. It is an expensive process, and if we don't maintain a regular rotation, some streets can get way past ill repair. So it's good to treat those damaged streets as we can and use the money as efficiently as we can. Kurt and Jack are the experts on this, and I think the committee very much appreciates their input to it every year.
Thank you. Mayor,
Yes.
have there been any safeguards put in place to prevent the kinds of problems arising out of the police department in the past 2 years?
The police department is a professional department. We have officers that, police officers in the state of Kentucky now are certified police officers. They go to Eastern Kentucky University, to our police academy. I serve on the Kentucky Law Enforcement Council, where we have a part of all the classes, all the classes that we have for all students, whether it's in-service training or the regular 18-week academy itself. We have the problems past in the police department. They are history. They are over. We have professional people who are in charge, people who I trust in the department now. That's because we're looking for a new police chief, and we don't know who that will be yet because we have people applying for that position. But I have very much confidence in our Glasgow Police Department. It is a professional department, as I said, and the people of this community are well protected and are well served. So I commend you for what the work to do. The leadership that we have now, I think, are doing a good job. Will there be new leadership? That'll be something that we'll have to see if that happens or not. If not, we'll stay within the department. We may go without the department. But I can guarantee the citizens of Glasgow that our police department is doing what it is supposed to be doing, and there have been some major changes in the police department to make sure that that they continue to do the work that they're supposed to do.
Your question's a little bit different.
Okay.
Do you believe the council has enough input regarding operation of the department since you are currently a council person? If you are mayor, would you see yourself still thinking that it either needed more or it's in the right position with regard to oversight of the police department?
Well, we do have a public safety committee that is made up of, I think, 4 council members. I'm not certain. I think 4 that do get some reports from the police department as far as workload and arrests and crimes and that kind of thing. I'm not certain the council as a whole or that committee has a whole lot of power or ability to actually get inside the police department and see what is going on. That, I think, might need to be something that needs to be looked at, whether that committee is clearly defined, what their role is, and what their duties are as a council committee. I do believe that we've had our share of bad press and things going on in the police department that has put a little bit of a black eye on the department. I know that there's a lot of wonderful people in that department, and I believe they are ready to move on and get back to doing the job of policing and community service. As I've been campaigning, I'll be honest, this is the number one question I get asked: what's going on, what's going to happen? I'm a big believer in the community policing philosophy. I think if we can find a police chief that has